Okay, everyone, we're going to continue on. We've got 3 of the 7 parts modeled in our Dolphin mechanical animal assembly, and we're going to start to focus on what goes into the top hole here, and we'll start looking at adding some other components in later on. So I'm going to go ahead and move over to the other side. I'm going to create a new sketch. I'm going to choose the side of the stand here to help us start this one, and I'm going to start by modeling the pivot that's going to go um, into the dolphin, so that way we can get that kind of lurching motion that's going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and center rectangle. I'm going to choose the center here, and the width of this thing is going to be 0.75, and the height of it is going to be 0.5. So I'm going to go ahead and set that in there. I'm going to also fillet the edges here. So I'll click this edge and this edge. It's going to be 1/8 of an inch or 0.125. Grab the other one. Just the top edges are what gets filleted, so that's really what kind of happens there. And I can go ahead and hit enter. That'll accept. I'm going to finish the sketch. And as far as this goes, I'm going to go ahead and extrude. I'm going to grab both of these profiles, so that way it's nice and solid. And this is going to be a 1/2 inch extrusion off the side. Now it's going to turn blue because it thinks we're adding to the stand, but I want to create it as a new component. So I'm going to go ahead and create it, select OK, and there's our pivot ready to kind of go. So I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of other operations. I'm going to create a sketch, choose the top face, and with that I can go ahead and draw another center rectangle. And I'm going to just use the dimension tool to help set up a few things. So when we're looking at this from the very edge to this rectangle, we're looking at a 0.23 dimension. We are looking at from the, looks like all the way from the back edge to the hole. I'll put this where we can see that on the screen. It's going to be 0.105. And then for it to allow for proper clearance, the opening of this is going to be 0.29, and the height of it is also going to be 0.29. So we want a pretty good clearance for our follower to be able to run up and down through. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the sketch. I can go ahead and extrude. This one we're going to do a cut operation that goes all the way through this. So I'm just going to go down here and select the bottom, so that way it knows it's going to cut down 1/2 inch. It is set to cut, and here we can check the objects to cut. It just says body 1, component 1, or component 4, and if there's one instance of it. And I'm going to go ahead and say OK. So there gives us our pivot. I'm going to go ahead and hide the stand component. I'm going to create a sketch on this face of our pivot, and I'm going to go ahead and put a center diameter circle. I'm going to go ahead and just track off of the centers of this part, but we're going to make sure that this is where it should be. So based upon our drawings, from the right side to the center should be a 0.375, and we're going to be from the bottom to the center, it's going to be a 0.25, and the diameter of this we're going to put as 0.25. I'm going to go ahead and finish the sketch. I'm going to extrude. This is going to be a value of 0.5 on the extrusion, and we are joining to this new component, so I'm going to select OK. And this component name, we'll call this the pivot. And again, we can go through and change material. So I'm making it PLA plastic. And my appearance, we can throw a red color on there. Toggle the stand back on. There we can see how it's modeled inside of the stand. All right, one more component here, so then that way we can get this finished up, and we can look at adding in some more. So we're going to put a washer on this side to help kind of hold us in. So I'm going to create a new sketch, select the side of the stand here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a center diameter circle, make sure I'm at the center. The diameter is going to be 0.875. I'm going to draw another circle, right off the center. This is going to have a diameter of 0.26, and I'm going to go ahead and finish the sketch. So here I've got this. I'm actually going to hide the stand, and I'm also going to hide the pivot. So that way we can see our sketches a little bit better. And actually, if you notice, we can actually kind of see there's the outside of the hole is 0.29. The inside is going to be 0.26 for this circle. So I just want to make sure to try to help Fusion kind of do some of that. But even then, you can see it doesn't quite get that. So I'm going to have to click this inner circle as well to make sure that I grab all of that. So I'm going to do a value of 0.25. And I want to make sure this is set to new component for the operation and select OK, and turn on my parts again. And here I can go ahead and set my material, and set my appearance. So we're getting close, and we'll rename the component. This is our washer to hold our pivot on. So we're getting close, and we will go through and start modeling the rest of the components here on the back side, which will be the follower and the dolphin, here in the next video.